Okay, just by way of introduction, I gotta explain this whole thing to you and what to do. First, the hat. I came back I was in Kenya for a month in February, and beforehand I studied a little bit of Swahili, so I wanted to impress people. So at the museum in Kenya, the city museum, they sell these hats. And it says, Hakuna Matata. And I thought, okay, I'll be walking down the street in New York and somebody will see the hat and say, wewe nafahamu Kiswahili. And I'll say, kidogo, nafahamu Kiswahili kidogo sana. And they'll be so impressed. And then I found out it's from the fucking Lion King. I didn't know. I just thought, okay, it's Swahili. They have no Swahili t-shirt. So that's why I'm wearing this today. Anybody speak Swahili here? Okay, that kills that. The next step is, when people travel a lot, I travel a lot, you carry a book with you, that you read a travel book. And somebody gave me, and I was reading a Stephen King book that was called How to Write. And I carried it with me and then was amazed to find that his first published piece was in a porno magazine called Cavalier magazine. That's where my first published piece was. So I sent him a copy of my book, and guess what happened? You're right, nothing happened. I never heard from the guy. So, but I have that piece from Cavalier that I'd like to read tonight. It's about being rejected from a sperm bank. And I thought, okay, I could talk about a sperm bank and make a big splash here. But we'll see what happens. So, I'll be reading for you, and if you can't hear me or you want me to switch to Swahili, please tell me. When you're rejected by a sperm bank, your world begins to collapse. I know, it happened to me. A freak of fate involved me. I looked through the yellow pages for a cheap place to buy basil, a necessary spaghetti sauce additive. On the same page as spices was sperm banks. The Ident Corporation on Madison Avenue. So I wrote them a letter. I said, I have a cousin who is unable to have children because her husband has been injured in an accident. She was too embarrassed to write for herself. Could you please send me some information for her? By the way, I added, how does one go about contributing to a sperm bank in the first place? In a few days, I got my reply. The one sentence which mentioned my cousin said she would have to be recommended by her doctor. As for becoming a donor, you must make a definite appointment prior to which you would have to abstain from sex for at least 3 days. If you can accommodate our purpose, you are asked back for a blood test. If you check out on all counts, you may become a donor and you are paid $20 for each ejaculate. After showing the letter to a friend, we both laughed. I set it aside and forgot it. Then came the pink slip from the boss. I was working for a local newspaper at the time, and the editor told me I was a fine person and an efficient worker. However, advertising revenue had dropped, and I would be also. I was ineligible for employment insurance, so I went to welfare, and they said it would be 2 weeks before I could get any money. I called the Ident Corporation. The woman who answered had a voice like Tallulah Bankhead. "May we help you?" she asked. I stammered. "I would like to set up an appointment to become a donor." "Tomorrow at 11 a.m., she asked. "I'm afraid that's a little too soon. You see, last night, Friday at noon? Fine. Should I bring picture books or anything?" I asked. "You have everything? Thank you. I'll see you Friday at 12. She gave me a crisp goodbye and hung up. I took a dozen showers each day cold showers each day for the next 3 days. I watched Bambi and Fantasia, and that was the only entertainment I allowed myself. Time passed slowly. Curiosity overtook me. How do they do it? Is there a tiny lucite cubicle where the doctors and nurses watch you perform? Is there a private little room outside of which a line of impatient men wait for you to finish? I could almost hear someone banging on the wall. "Hey, hurry up in there. We don't have all day. What's the matter? You some kind of fruit?" What if they did 10 people at once? Had them lined up in front of it like a kind of milking machine? What if the doctor did it for you in surgical gloves? White coats don't turn me on. Friday morning, I took my 13th shower. I dressed in Levi's, an open-neck shirt, and sports jacket, and I wanted to appear casual, as if this was something I did every day. At 10 to 12, I walked into the black-windowed skyscraper at 645 Madison Avenue. I couldn't find Ident listed in the tenant directory, but I was afraid to ask the doorman. "What type of business is that?" he would ask. Then I saw the menacing 12-foot door behind me. Across the middle of the door, I-D-A-N-T. I grabbed the knob and pulled. The door held fast. I finally let go, and the door slowly squeaked open by itself. Scary, but it was too late to turn back. Large glass globes lit the stairwell's op art wallpaper, which led to an open waiting room filled with oddly shaped plastic furniture. More Howard Johnson than sperm bank. Nobody came to greet me, so I sat down to wait. I brushed aside the Time and Newsweek magazines that was set out on the table. Instead, I picked up a copy of Plain Truth with Billy Graham on the cover. Inside was an article describing the perils of pornography and sexual promiscuity. I was alone in the room, but I felt 1,000 eyes were on me. A female attendant, dressed in white, came out of the door in the back and went into another one on the left. She seemed not to notice me. At 12:30, I knocked on a glass window near one of the doors. A pretty blonde asked me if she could help me. "I have an appointment," I said. She brushed her hair in back of her ears. "You must be Mr. Board." I nodded. "Welcome to Ident, Mr. Board. Before we take your specimen," "We take?" "Please fill out this questionnaire." She handed me the papers. name, age, address, social security number. So far, okay. Has anyone in your family an allergic or heart condition? Okay, I have to have some controls. Height, weight, body type. See, I'm a little short, not very athletic. I began to sweat. Then, what are your hobbies? Can you play any musical instruments? Do you have any special talents? That sounded a little bit too master racy for me. But I came this far. When I finished, I returned the papers. I don't know my body type, I apologized. The attendant looked at me and wrote ectomorph. Then she took 2 sticky labels and wrote my social security number on each. One she stuck on my questionnaire, the other on a small jar which she handed to me. They do it in that room over there. She pointed to a door. I walked over and knocked hard. There was no answer. I opened the door, ran inside, slammed it behind me. It was dark. I felt along the wall for a light switch and flipped it on. The room measured about 12 by 12, rather large considering its purpose. It was furnished simply with an old plush leather chair, a table, and a wastebasket. The floor was carpeted in green acrylon. The carpet was stained. On the table